Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a lovely car and a rare one as well. CT200 hybrid. It's the SEL Premier, so the really high spec one, and finished in what looks like black, but it's in fact a really deep dark metallic sort of purple aubergine, which is a stunning colour, absolutely stunning, with a contrasting light leather interior. Just 56,000 miles on the clock and a full Lexus service history, right up the service we've literally just done. It is a lovely example. Front of the car, lights and lenses are clear and intact. No cracks or condensation there at all. Bonnet, very, very clean. There'll be some microscopic stone chips, I'm sure, but they are going to be light indeed. Near side, really smooth in the panel work. No kind of obvious sort of car parking dinks or dents on there. Corners, very good indeed. And back again, very clean and tidy. And then offside, driver's side of the car, lovely and smooth in the panels. Lovely sort of gleam to the paintwork as well. It's not even been washed. It's literally as it's come to us. A stunning car, I have to say. And there will be, I mean, it's 11 years old, there will be the odd minor imperfection, which we can obviously factor in, just given the age mileage of the car, but that's one of the cleaner ones you can see anywhere. Let's come to the boot area, nice sized boot in the car. There is a cubby hole underneath the cover there, and beautifully finished, you'd expect of any Lexus car. Let's come into the back. Leather work looks absolutely stunning car. It looks as though the back's hardly ever been used. It's so clean. On the passenger side at the front, again, really clean and tidy. Footwell areas likewise, passenger seat been given hardly any use. Finally coming on the driver's side, door card again. Sorry, I should just show there. The only thing on the inside, elbow, it's sort of very common on this age vintage one, where you push with your elbow, it just roughs up the leather a little bit there. Crumbles out, I should say. Footwell areas, really nice. Driver's seat again for the age of the car, in fantastic condition. So inside the car now, with the engine running as I always have, so the dashboard can be seen illuminated. And what a fantastic interior this is. Sat nav, you can see, all working absolutely perfectly. And just pop the car into reverse, you can see that rear parking camera likewise working exactly as it should. Going down the dashboard, it just looks absolutely stunning. Mark Levinson stereo on the top of the range ones, but it's been kept absolutely beautifully, this car. Come across the main dashboard binnacle, hopefully you can see 56,043 miles, no warning lights on the dashboard at all. That's the dashboard you get in eco and normal mode, and twisted to the right into sport mode. Dashboard with the sort of red background, and rev counter suddenly appears as if by magic. It is a stunning interior. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual, pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus CT200 hybrid, and it's the SEL Premier model. The car's registered FL12FVB, and with a mileage of just 56,043 recorded. The reason, as we always say for this video, and especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the car advertised actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important is simply because, like many people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there, drive it and find out it's got an obvious fault that shows up. So that's why we do it. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this lovely part of Gloucestershire, and this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is then it'll be representative of what you feel yourself should you prefer to test drive in the car. So coming to the car, wonderful service history on the vehicle, and it's immediately apparent as soon as you drive the car because it drives absolutely beautifully. Just going to go through all the things I always go through. Push button start, power up the engine and the hybrid system. These are what they call these days self-charging hybrids. Basically it means you're going to drive, own and run the car like any normal petrol car. Nothing more complicated than that. So you're not going to run out of battery, you're not going to have to charge it up, you're not going to have to worry about going to, you know, all the things attached to sort of range anxiety, which, you know, I've had the misfortune of having to deal with myself on an electric car. So yeah, just go to the petrol station, stand there for a couple of minutes, fill up with fuel, and off you go again. The hybrid battery in the car charges itself up as you drive along. So when you back off the throttle or hit the brakes, it replenishes the battery by utilising the energy which should ordinarily be wasted. So it's very, very clever indeed. But what's even cleverer is the way it all works together. You've got the engine, the hybrid, the gearbox working in the most seamless way you could possibly imagine. It is genius. It was way, way, way ahead of its time. In some ways still is, because the other manufacturers, you know, struggled to master this, and Lexus did very quickly indeed. The thing that when most people get in these cars, the thing they straight away they notice is, you know, how smooth the transitions are. What I mean by that is, you know, some cars, you know, even the best automatics can get indecisive sometimes, especially at low speeds when you're trickling along. You put your foot down, it sometimes wants to go to first, sometimes into second. And now is a classic example. Coming to a stop now, this feels, because it is in pure electric mode, like an electric car. Totally smooth, totally linear. Pull away, there's no jolting. It's just completely smooth. With the CVT, the engine revs pick up and you kind of catch up with the revs. It's so smooth because there's no gear changes as such. Brilliant. Also, the engine has 3 modes, currently in normal mode. I can twist that to the left and go into eco mode, makes it more economical, obviously. Push a button down to go back into normal, or if I want to, just twist it to the right. Suddenly my dashboard's changed, I've got a rev counter, red background, and the throttle response is more urgent. Definitely, it's very noticeable actually. It's a, you know, very nice setup. All working perfectly. There's no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Gearbox, you know, as tough as the engines and the other bits, you know, it works faultlessly. Coming to the steering and chassis of the car, I've always liked the CT200s because they're a keen car. Most people think of Lexus as, you know, a luxury brand, and they are. You know, they're beautifully engineered, beautifully appointed, but this has got a real verve to it, and it starts with the kind of the steering and the chassis. The steering's precise, accurate, really nicely weighted for an electric power steering system, and it works beautifully with the chassis of the car. It's very keen to change direction, but never feels unsettled or nervous in any way. It also, by the way, tracks absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed, or any speed up to the legal limit actually. The suspension itself, you know, I love this, you know, when they get suspension right like this, because it's on the crikey me, they've managed to sort of, so just going to bear with me, I'm just going to zip by this chap. You know, for rougher road surfaces like that is, but that's more extreme than anything because it's completely potholed. You know, it rides it, you know they're there, but the damping's very good on the car. But for most of the time it's very comfortable. But it allows the car, as I said, that change of direction, A, B roads. You know, you can have a lot of fun in it. You can really enjoy your driving in the car. Incidentally, no rattles or clonks coming from underneath the suspension at all, so it all feels absolutely rock solid. And brake pedal on the car is really, really good. A lot of regeneration comes back through the brake pedal, and they've done a very good job to combine the two there. But there's no kind of pulsing or vibrations at all, so all in very, very good order. And then finally coming inside the car, I've always loved the CT200s inside, and I've always said in videos, I've always struggled to explain exactly what I mean by that. There's something about when you sit in them straight away, they just feel a little bit special. And that's to do with, I think, you know, the labelling, the detailing, the mixture of textures, the stitching. Everything comes together beautifully. It's a really, really lovely place to sit. You've got the perfect driving position. You genuinely sit in the car and you feel like you are actually in sort of a cockpit. And lots of manufacturers use that as marketing blurb, and basically they're just going to give you the same dashboard they've always given you. But this does feel quite unique, but works brilliantly. You've got the sat nav up there, which folds away. You've got a little button down here, so I can change the angle of tilt on there. So you know, summer days, low sun, that kind of thing, you can sort of stop reflection in that way. You can press the button there to hide it away if you're not using the sat nav and don't want the screen up. Down below that, you've got a dual zone climate control system, so you can have different temperatures side to side on the car, and that's pumping out nice cold air currently as well. Underneath that, it's just the detailing. I love it. It is very reminiscent, I always say it, of a really high quality kind of hi-fi from a different era, but all the better for it. It looks fantastic. Mark Levinson stereo, so if you like your music, the system is extraordinary. The sound reproduction is absolutely brilliant on them. And then you've got this little mouse pad here to control the main screen up there. And again, that's becomes very easy and second nature very, very quickly, actually, even for an old fossil like me. And then in front of me, this wonderfully minimalist in some ways dash binnacle, which is imparting information that all it needs to give you, so you're not squinting to see what you want to look at. And as I mentioned in the walk around video, in eco and normal mode, you've got a kind of a power meter or whatever they call it, and a kind of a blue background. Then in sport mode, you get this red background, rev counter, all looks absolutely fantastic. And then you've got this lovely leather bound steering wheel. The interior is in, like the rest of the car, it's just in fantastic condition. It's been very, very, very well looked after, this car. And I can't fault it. Drives absolutely beautifully.